Welcome. I'm Tom Masbaum. I'm an EFT practitioner in the Chicago area, EFT Advanced. We have a practice called EFT With A Guarantee. We guarantee success or there's no charge for the session. We've shown EFT now to over 4,000 people, to over 2,000 individual sessions, and all with this guarantee of success. You can see a lot of the testimonials on our website, www.EFT-Tom.com, EFT-Tom.com. We teach EFT at 6 different colleges here in the Chicago metropolitan area, plus another dozen venues such as Solid World, Healing Arts Center, and we love what we do. The information you're going to see and hear on the following recordings, all right, have not been reviewed by the FDA, are not meant to replace anything related to your doctor, your medical practitioner, your meds, and you have to acknowledge that we are not medical practitioners. On the following recordings, you're going to see and learn a simple tapping procedure on some of the acupuncture spots. That's where the needle goes in if you have acupuncture, all right? Well, a simple tapping on some of these acupuncture spots, and it releases emotional stuff just tremendously. Grief, long-term grief, just strong grief from something that happened, PTSD, etc. All of those emotional things just happen to slip away on 1 or 2 sessions. Now, if you purchase the video or the recording on colon-related, digestive-related problems, such as GERDs, acid reflux, IBS, colitis, all the way down to hemorrhoids, that's a little different. But once again, on that, from that video, if you follow it 1 or 2 times, we fully expect the symptoms to completely disappear. Now, we're not medical people, we're not talking about curing you. We're just saying when we help you relieve some old emotional stuff, we'll guide you on that video and in that recording, all right, we fully expect the physical symptoms to substantially lessen or completely disappear. And that said, we are not saying anything about what you do with your meds. Don't do your meds, do your meds, see your doctor. That's all up to you afterwards. Take a look on the EFT-Tom.com. You'll see other testimonials such as asthma and many other things. Thank you for watching. Enjoy what you're going to be hearing and seeing right after this. Thank you. Bye now. Keep smiling. Hi, this is Tom Masbaum. I'm an EFT practitioner in the Chicago area. We teach EFT at 6 colleges in the Chicago area, plus 10 other venues like that. We've shown EFT now to over 3,500 people. Over 2,000 of them are individual sessions. And this particular video is related to the symptoms, just the symptoms of having something like Crohn's, colitis, anything with a digestive problem, anywhere from acid reflux all the way down to hemorrhoids. Anything going on in your digestive system. I'm not a medical practitioner, and this is not in lieu of medical advice. You stay with your doctor, go to a doctor, stay with your meds, don't stay with your meds. You choose whatever you want to do. We are not medical practitioners, but Linda Nyberg and myself, we are professional EFT practitioners, emotional freedom technique. We're going to show you some simple tapping procedures to release the symptoms of Crohn's, colitis, etc. Actually, the tapping will help you release the emotional attachment to old memories. And once those emotional symptoms of anger, pain, etc. disappear, all right, these other symptoms will disappear. Let me back up a little bit. You can find more about us on EFT-Tom, EFT- that's a hyphen, that's not underscore, hyphen, Tom, Tom.com, EFT-Tom.com. Our practice is called EFT With A Guarantee. For the last 1,000 or so clients, individual sessions, I guarantee success in an individual EFT session, or there's no charge for that session. When you do EFT right, it is that good. I haven't yet, over 1,000 people, nobody's taken me up on that guarantee. I am very proud of what we do as far as sharing a healing in many ways, a healing therapy. So let me back up again. Years ago, actually for about 45 years, I've moderated prayer groups and discussion groups, and I've seen a connection with some of the physical issues going on in people and the emotional stuff they're going through. And related to that, we have to point it out to them and maybe clean it up in your mind with your father, or go to therapy, or let's pray. But I didn't have an answer. All I could do is say is I've had many situations where I saw the connections very similar to 50 or 100 other people. And now with EFT, it's beauty. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. With EFT, I can guide you to look at some old emotional, negative emotional issues, release the emotion attached to that memory, and lo and behold, sometimes, just coincidentally, the symptoms happen to disappear. And that's what this video is for. The symptoms related to digestive problems. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about EFT. And they take you all through the sequence and everything, and and they're all wonderful. A couple things that we teach a little differently. Number one is the secrets in the focusing. I'm going to ask you to look at a memory, like you've seen an old movie, and when you come to a part that tightens you up, that's got a charge to it, a sting to it, at that point, hit the pause button. Make it a still picture. There's the focusing, and then a little bit of tapping, and then we fully expect, and I teach this in the classes when other EFT practitioners and psychologists come to the classes, psychologists who use EFT in their practice, I tell them fully expect that easing, a comfortableness to come within 10 or 15, 20 seconds if you're focusing. And now that's for you. When you're going to sit along with this and follow me and follow my guidance, remember the secrets in the focusing. You can fully expect an easing on the pain of that particular memory, as long as you're focusing, all right, and a little bit of tapping. Now, the other part, EFT is a simple tapping procedure on some of the acupuncture spots where the needle would go in. If you were sitting laying on a table for an acupuncture session with a qualified acupuncturist, all right? Well, if the needle's going in here, it's a particular spot. If you're tapping with your broad base of your finger tips like this, you've got it. You don't have to worry. Don't be concerned about getting it right. I'll show you. You tap along with me. The other part that we're very different than other EFT practitioners, we're the only ones that we know of that will teach you also, you don't have to tap very hard. Tapping implies you're pounding away, and some of the other videos you see them, they do pound away. You don't have to tap very hard. And matter of fact, in the classes and individual sessions, I tell people, if you stayed on one spot for 20 minutes, you want to tap lightly enough where it would not get tender. You want to make it just like little butterfly kisses, and that's all you need. Actually, your intention is all you need. You can actually do it without physically tapping, but that's a whole different story. All right. For now, I'm going to ask you to please tap along with me. You can develop the rest of that later on. Okay, let's stay with this now. After we actually find these parts of that memory that bite a little bit, okay, have a sting, all right, we're going to get it down to 0, but then we're going to take you through 4 other steps. That's a whole separate video also for practitioners, but right now we'll add that to this, and we'll just take you through these 4 additional steps. Each of those steps has power in itself, but they're also tests for us is it really down to zero? Did you really get rid of the stain related to that memory? So if we'll start out, if you would, anything related to the digestive, I want you to find a memory. Father, could be a nice guy, one time even something. Father figure, one woman, whenever her mother started on her father had to get up and go for cigarettes, and he left the house. It was her mother became the father figure, the authority figure. Authority figure. Another woman, late 70s, her memory was related to a teacher when she was in second grade. It was a female, but there's the authority figure. And it was a gentle teacher, but just one particular situation stuck in her mind. Okay, so with you, if you would. That's enough on my part. If you would, close your eyes, relax for a few seconds. Maybe take a deep breath. I'm going to ask you to open your eyes in a minute, but right now, close your eyes. And the Spirit works. Some people call it the Holy Spirit, your higher self, your Buddha, your Jesus. It doesn't matter, whoever, whatever name you put to it. There's a higher knowing somehow within you. You'll come up with the right memory. Don't judge it. If it seems, oh, that's so small, don't judge it. All right? So when you found that memory, if you have to think about it, turn off the video and come back to it. Yeah. When you find one, let's assume you found one, let's move forward. Rate it 0 to 10, and this is just for your benefit, before and after. Does it get worse, etc. So rate it 0 to 10. How strong is that bite? How strong is the sting when you think of that memory? Okay, make a note of that in your mind. You might notice when you start thinking of parts of it, this thing might get a little tighter, a little higher, but let's see what unfolds for you. Start looking at that memory, reviewing that memory in the kitchen, wherever you were, and then all of a sudden something happened in the bedroom, in the kitchen, on the street, wherever you were. Find the part that's got you, that tightens you up. Hit the pause button. Pay attention to that. Okay? Now, peace, love, and joy. I'll explain this another time, if you would. Peace, love, and joy. In your mind, out loud is fine, either one. Okay? Now bring your hand up and very gently tap on the side of your eyebrow, your eye, outside the edge of your eye, right on that skull bone. And then next is under the eye, right on top of that skull bone. Okay, under your nose, right at the nose, right at the lip, right under the lip, but right at it, and collarbone. This one is also a little different. Come back away from focusing on that memory just for a moment. If you would take your thumb and forefinger, find the top of your collarbone, come down about an inch with your hands spread out, come down about an inch into that indentation on either side, and right there you can tap a little bit, massage. Okay, stay with it. Now go back to that memory, the freeze frame, the part that hurt. Tap a little bit. There you go. Back up under your eye. Back down to the collarbone. Okay. Back up under your eye. Under your nose. Under your lip. Collarbone. Stay with it. Okay. How does it feel? By now, if you're focusing, you felt a release. Looking at that particular part of that particular memory, the part with the sting, I'm assuming now you've tapped a little bit and the emotion has subsided. Now find another part of that memory, review that memory, and sometimes it's the voice, sometimes it's the words, and sometimes it's the tone behind the voice. It's a little different than the voice itself. And sometimes it's the look in their eyes. One lady took a while to find it after tapping down about her father beating her, the hand going up. Find that particular part now that's still left in that memory that stings, that tightens you up a little bit. Find another part, freeze frame, put a frame around it, Hit that pause button, all right? Tap a little bit, please. Collarbone, up under your eye, under your nose, under your lip, collarbone. Okay. Focus, secrets in the focusing. And once again, when I ask you, hit the pause button. You don't need me for the rest of this, for this part. Keep reviewing that movie, finding any part of it that tightens you up. Tap a little bit, you'll feel the easing, all right? The comfort that'll come, the peacefulness that'll come, and at that point, review it, find another part. Your role right now, for a few minutes, is to find the parts of that particular memory that bite, that sting, okay? Tap it down, and then come back to the video. Thank you. So, if you're back to the video at this time, I'm assuming you found the parts of that memory that stung, and it's all over for that particular memory. Okay? Now, so you think, now we go to 4 more steps. The first part of these, first of the 4 steps, now face that person, the father figure, authority figure. If you're 7 years old, you're 15, you're 28, whatever memory came up, all right? Go back at that time, face him, her, whoever it was, and pretend you're at that age. You're 8 years old, you're 10, 12 years old, whatever it was. All right? Now voice your feelings using the words, I feel. Use their first name or dad, mom, grandpa, whatever it was, stranger. I feel. And start voicing what you thought you felt. Tap a little bit. You'll notice the emotion seems to come back. It's actually, in my take on this, that it's got a different hook in you somehow. All right? Fine, that's okay. You'll notice the emotion came, a little tightness came back again. All right? Tap a little bit, but start voicing and repeating it. I feel. I feel. I feel angry. I feel hurt. You might notice you'll start changing what you're saying you're feeling. I feel angry. No. I feel hurt. No. I feel abused. I feel used. How could you have done that? And just keep repeating I feel and voice what you felt. If you happen to have also symptoms of a thyroid problem, there's good chances it's a little hard for you to voice that I feel, and some tears will come back and everything else. There's a connection there. All right. But continue voicing until you can honestly just say to them, I feel, but it's just like an old movie. Continue with that, please. Repeat it. I feel angry. I feel angry. I feel angry. I feel used. Just keep repeating it. Tap any of these spots very gently. Okay? Very gently. Massage, tap. Yeah. Okay. And now we're going to go on to the next one for that, if you would. What I want you to voice is something which has nothing to do with logic. If you can't find what I'm going to ask you next to find, is to find some part of that memory still has a bite. Go find it. But here, without any logic, 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever, 20, I want you to find where you felt responsible, a coulda, woulda, shoulda. The real term, I want to be careful, turns some people off. The real term is feeling guilty. It doesn't mean you were guilty. The feeling, the emotion. Sometimes it's right at the beginning of the uncomfortable part of that memory. Or maybe I knew I shouldn't have walked down this street. I shouldn't have looked at him. The little kid remembered at 2 years old being kicked by his father. Remembered when he was 2, he was kicked by his father as he ran across. He remembered thinking, I shouldn't be running in front of him while he's at the desk. And it's wild, it's his fault, all his fault. Well, that's what I want you to find, where you felt at fault. You're responsible for something. It's no logic. Don't get me wrong. Stay with me with this. Some of you left-brain people will get all excited with this and upset with me. Don't. Please understand. There's something going on in the system. We all, it's like, I joke around in the classes, it's like we're all raised Catholic or we all have a Jewish mama. But what I'm finding, every client, after it's down to zero, they'll find that aha, something they felt responsible. Find that and tap a little bit. Okay? Now, my next words are just a test. I'm just saying some words that are just a test. But you pay attention if there's an emotional reaction in your body, and if so, continue tapping. It's good. Hold on. Shame on you. It was your fault. Was there a bite? Okay? If it got you at all, if it tightened you up at all, start tapping. And this is the point. No logic, but you've got it in you. Emotionally, you're in there that you're at fault. You don't want to create more of that. You don't want to bring that along with you. Okay? Shame on you. And say some things like, shame on me. I feel that fault. I feel it's my fault. Shame on me. I feel it's my fault. Okay? Yeah. Okay, if you still feel it, turn off the video for a moment. Just sit there and tap it a little bit, saying some of these things, positive and negative, about being at fault, being shameful, I should have, I could have, just anything at all that comes up. All right? You intuitively will be led to it. Until you can actually just look at it when I say something like, shame on you, it is your fault, all right? That you'll laugh at that, or just words. I'm going to step away. So, if you're back, I'm assuming that I can comfortably tell you, shame on you, it was your fault. And you'll just laugh at that. Okay? All right, good. So let's go on. Now, the next thing, I'm going to ask you to say some words yourself. You're back at that, in that memory, in the kitchen, in the bed, on the bedroom, in the bedroom, in the car, on the street, wherever you were with that memory. Okay? Now, turn to the party or parties in that memory and say the words, I forgive you. And tell me if there's any resistance. If there's some resistance, go back to the memory. Some part of it, find that freeze frame, some part of it still has a hook in you. If you can comfortably say, I forgive you, all that is a sign you've taken away all the sting. If you can't, all that is that there's some sting. It doesn't mean you're a bad person and you don't know how to forgive and you got to turn to your God, your Jesus, your Buddha to learn forgiveness. That works also if you can do that. That's beautiful. Prayer works. I'm also a reverend. I totally believe prayer works. But this is also a very simple way to make that prayer work, that you can forgive somebody. Okay, story after story, where all of a sudden they just feel so relieved that they could say, I forgive you. I could comfortably say that to them. You know, do that, please. And if you can't, turn off the video, go back to the memory, find the part of it that's still in there, that still has a hold in you somehow. All right, and then come back, please. So if you're back, I'm assuming that I can comfortably tell you, shame on you, it was your fault. And you'll just laugh at that. Okay? All right, good. So let's go on. Now, the next thing, I'm going to ask you to say some words yourself. You're back at that, in that memory, in the kitchen, in the bed, on the bedroom, in the bedroom, in the car, on the street, wherever you were with that memory. Okay? Now, turn to the party or parties in that memory and say the words, I forgive you. And tell me if there's any resistance. If there's some resistance, go back to the memory. Some part of it, find that freeze frame, some part of it still has a hook in you. If you can comfortably say, I forgive you, all that is a sign you've taken away all the sting. If you can't, all that is that there's some sting. It doesn't mean you're a bad person and you don't know how to forgive and you got to turn to your God, your Jesus, your Buddha to learn forgiveness. That works also if you can do that. That's beautiful. Prayer works. I'm also a reverend. I totally believe prayer works. But this is also a very simple way to make that prayer work, that you can forgive somebody. Okay, the story after story, where all of a sudden they just feel so relieved that they could say, "I forgive you." I could comfortably say that to them. You know, do that, please. And if you can't, turn off the video, go back to the memory, find the part of it that's still in there, that still has a hold in you somehow. All right, and then come back, please. All right, if you're back to the video here, I'm assuming that you could voice your feelings at that time, and all's well. There's no bite to it. You can comfortably find the part where you felt responsible. Same thing. That was then. That was you then. Fine. All right. Same thing you could say to that person in your mind. I forgive you. For that event. Not that it's okay for that they would do it again. It's not okay for the hundreds of other times, just for that event. Okay? Now, the last test. But there's power in this in itself. Quantum physicists are talking about how we're creating our own reality. The Abraham material saying our emotions are creating our own reality. Okay? There's power in this for yourself. The last part. Go back to that memory. If you're 8 years old in the kitchen, go in the kitchen with one person, two people, whoever it was, your dad, your uncle, whatever, okay, on the street, wherever this was. Take away all the circumstances that did happen and just be there. You're going to make up a little movie in your mind. Now, if you remembered something and you felt the bite. Your body doesn't know the difference when you actually experienced something or remembered it. You felt something strong. You would feel that same thing if you just made it up. Now we want to turn this around, and you're going to make up something positive. Now your body's going to feel the power of positive rather than the tightness. But there's a test. This is good as a test also for this EFT. If you can't find the positive, the feeling of love I'm going to guide you to, all right, to make up in your mind, that's a sign some part of the movie has a bite. Simple as that. Okay? So now go back. You're 8 years old, 12, whatever that memory was. Put yourself in the same place with the person who was with you. Take away all the details of what happened and just picture yourself there. Okay? Now picture a stranger comes in about the same age, size, shape as the father figure, whoever it was in that memory. Got it? Okay. Now, the stranger looks at you with a smile in his face, in his eyes. Feel the love from that stranger's eyes, the love, the respect. That stranger's looking at you saying, I'm a better person because I know you. I wish you were in our family. Feel the love. And just about now, you're feeling it. If you haven't felt it by now, turn off the video, go back, find the part of the memory that's got a bite. This is very important to you. Okay? Very important, believe me. Feel the love. Now, then picture your dad, whoever was in that video, turning to you once again. Feel the love and respect. At that age, at that time, in that place of that memory. Your role right now is to make up this movie where you could feel the love from two people. The person in the memory and that stranger. Just feel their love. Stay with it for about 15, 20 seconds. Feel their love. They care. They think you're wonderful. Their eyes are saying, I'm so glad I know you. You are wonderful. Stay with it, please. Now tell them both thank you. It's your movie. You're just making this up. Tell them thank you. Have them leave. Good. So, if something happened to you hundreds of times, and any one of those hundreds of times would have this thing to work on, believe me, with thousands of clients, all right, you don't have to. Like Gary Craig talks about knocking down 10 or 15 trees in the forest, and they'll knock down the rest of the trees in the forest. I'm finding 2 memories. Go through this procedure. Start right at the beginning, find 1 more memory, sometimes a 3rd, very seldom. But then after you've got them down completely, going through this whole procedure, and you honestly have it all the way down to 0 where you can shrug your shoulders about that memory, all right? Start looking at any of these hundreds of other times, and there'll be no bite, no sting. But the other part, pay attention to the symptoms then of what's going on in your body. And work on 1 more memory, possibly a 3rd, as you look at the memories. You'll know if you need to work on another one. And then take a look at those symptoms, the colitis, the Crohn's, diarrhea, whatever is going on. And another, if you would, I appreciate very much, give us some feedback. On our website, EFT-Tom.com, EFT-TOM.com. Right, there's a place, one link that says, You Tell Us. Appreciate it very much. Just short would be fine, but ideally you tell us what meds you were on before and what you experienced, and then how you felt this little bit and what's going on now. All right? You'll see a couple, if you go on our website, you'll see other testimonies where people, one lady, school psychologist, 3 doctors in a row, 3 different x-rays, 15 to 18 inches of the colon has to come out, all right, and an hour and a half of EFT, right, and it's all over. The next x-ray, 9 months ago, it was 9 months later, but 9 months later, an x-ray showed nothing, nothing. She said, when I asked her about that, she said, I've been telling you all a long time, it's gone, it's gone. It was gone that day, one session. So, thank you. Also on our website, there's a donate button. If you pick this video up and you've got really symptoms, I'm grateful. I love the idea that you spread this around, give it to people, share it with people. You know, I just love that. But also, there's some value, and in exchange of value, hey, no more of that pain, etc. I would love it if you would hit the donate button on our website and give something to Church of Love and Peace. Right? It'll be very helpful. There's another place on our website, if you know somebody with diabetes, there's a video they can pick up, Simply Raw it's called. 5 people from all around the country were brought to a health center in Arizona, 30 days of eating raw vegetables, raw food, and you'll see more in that video. It's a great video. 5 diabetics with insulin, 2 of them type 1, which the medical community says is irreversible, incurable. Okay, 30 days, 4 of them were totally 100% symptom-free. One of the type 1, 60 days later, his doctor said he is totally symptom-free. It's really, really powerful. There's more information too. There's some great information. There are Emoto's messages from water. We did the test with rice and water, and the labels, and 2 tomatoes, and some good stuff for you. Thank you. Bye.